Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Nowakowski here. Very excited to be presenting to all of you. The room is full. This is very exciting because this is the seminar that I gave down in the ASID Charleston Annual Report. So a few housekeeping things before. This is being recorded, so you'll basically be able to get this recording afterwards if you want to, copies of the slides, etc. And because this is approved by the AIA, those of you in the audience who require AIA credits, you're going to get those credits. It's also approved by the MKBA. So that's a self-reporting, I believe. And I think everything is done here by email, right? And it's also IDCEC. Those three organizations are very important because designers belong to one or more of them. But I'm happy to report that in the audience today, we have more than designers and architects and interior designers. There's other people who are interested in this topic, which we found fascinating. And I'm very excited to be presenting this report to you. Some of the learning objectives and course descriptions that you found out when you applied to take this course and were accepted to take the course, it's really designed for people today who are trying to uncover differentiation in the marketplace. In other words, everybody in the audience, can I have a show of hands who does not do good design? No, of course, we all do good design. We're all experts, professionals, but the name of the game has always been differentiation. So this course, this webinar, is designed to help you plow through and find some differentiation. It's going to focus on the results of comprehensive research from one of the leading business-to-business companies in the country, Accountability Information Management, or AIM. And the results, what we want to do with their results when they share them with us is stimulate your thinking. We want you to gain new insights into rooms, what rooms mean. We want you to reevaluate the definitions of rooms, which we'll be talking about. So we're going to review what homeowners told AIM. AIM went a study you're going to see in a moment. They went out to over 400 consumers and said, what do you want in your home? And then they asked them, what do you have in your home? Those are two very important questions, right? What we have and what we want. And then what AIM did is something no other research company did. They looked at the difference between what they have and what they want. And that opened our eyes, certainly my eyes, into what is the truth, at least part of the truth of what people really are talking about. Because everybody talks about what they want in their home, right? But do they really want it? So what we wanted to do as we review AIM's results is recognize how to gain information that can help us sell more of our services. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all this is about. That's all any of my webinars are about, is helping you make money through differentiation of your services. As I said, we're all great people. We all have great ideas. But the fact is, the consumer still has only $1. And they got to take that dollar and put it somewhere. So we want to build effective sales strategies with our webinars. So we'll be reviewing that, okay? Any questions, put them in the question box. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. I want you to feel free to put those questions in the question box anytime during the course. We're going to have some time at the end for questions. But in the meantime, as I'm talking, and I do talk fast because I'm a direct mail guy, if you have questions, throw them into that question box. And I'll try to do my best to watch that question box and answer the questions as we go in. The homeowner comes in all sizes and shapes, don't they? I mean, they're just all over the place. They live here, they live there, they live everywhere. So what I wanted to do as a designer is let you know as a designer, as an architect, as a marketer, as a business person, you have to listen all the time. Listening is a rare art these days, isn't it? Because everybody's talking. Aren't they? Yep, right? They're all talking. Social media has changed the way we live. Everybody's got an opinion. As designers and professional people, I was just having this conversation with one of my leading publishers that I network with every month. He owns many media outlets. And we were just talking about that. And I told him about we're going through a secret shopper experience, a piece of research for one of our clients. And he said, Jim, what is a secret shopper? And I said, whoa, you don't know? A secret shopper is when you go in and you pretend not to be you. It's like the Undercover Boss series. I never watched it, but I heard about it. Because when people know you're a designer, when people know you're an architect, when people know you're in marketing, they treat you differently, don't they? A media outlet, if they know you're in marketing, they're going to try to sell you something from their media outlet. But if you're just Tom, Dick, and Harry, they don't care. What do they care? They'll just go on to the next one. Listening is very important. You want to hear what your audience is hearing. And you have to study the facts and what's being told to you. Just like today, I do not expect you to just say, oh yeah, Jim said this, Jim said that. Think about what I'm going to be telling you today. Think about what this research is telling us today. That's the important thing. Not that the argument has to make you think. And we have to live in the real world, not this metaverse. What is that? You cannot eat, you cannot sleep in the metaverse. I mean, you could. So in other words, what you really have to do is look at what's being told, including what I'm about to tell you. That's why I want you to ask me questions. This is what that 400 plus audience looked like. You can see on the left chart, ages all over the place. It wasn't skewed with any demographic. On the right-hand chart, though, they were located all over the United States. So this is a national survey done across the board from baby boomer to Gen Zer, right? It's across the board on all age groups. That's what we're talking about. The income levels are all over the place, from under 50,000 to over, right, 200,000 or more. So these are all across a very wide, nice area to choose from. They've occupied their home for a lot of years, some over 20, some just 2 years. So again, very well dispersed, very well titled, so that we got a very good cross-section of people, and most of them have mortgages. God bless the 22% that don't. Isn't that interesting? Wouldn't that be nice? But most of us have mortgages, which is an interesting thing, especially if you follow home sales today. So, ask anyone at any time what they want in a home, or anything. Ask them anything. What kind of car do you want? The next minute you ask them, you're going to get a different answer. It's like a car accident or some trauma thing you saw. If you had 10 people witness it and you ask those 10 people, they all saw something different. That's the confusion which I hope to address through this presentation with you, with some of the things that the AIM research found. Put this in your idea book. These are some extraneous facts that I want to overlay on top of the AIM research. Knowledge doesn't come from just facts. As my philosophy teacher said, Jim, can a fact, F-A-C-T, keep you warm? No, it can't. Facts are facts and information is information. But when you put information on top of information, you get knowledge. And that knowledge can lead you to differentiation, which can help you sell more. It's like a spider web, right? According to researchers, there's going to be more people per household, regardless of the age of the household head. More people, and you know this. Some of you have people, I know some of you personally out there, you have your kids coming back to live with you, right? They go out, they don't make it, they come back, they're going on. You have grandparents that come in, you have aged parents that need help, so they come to live with you. So one of the things to think about and what people want in their homes is this fact, that more and more people are going to be living in that home. All future net household growth are going to be among senior households. So the older you get, the more help you need, the more people you're going to come in, right? And the pace of renter growth has more than doubled. Why? Because home ownership before the collapse recently in the last month was out of touch. People couldn't afford it anymore. So they were renting. And the renting market grew because now you had corporations actually buying blocks of homes and renting them to whomever wants to rent, but mainly their employees that they were perhaps relocating. There's lots of things going on that drives what people want in a home. When I was growing up in a 4-room apartment, you had a couple of bedrooms, a kitchen, and a living room. The washing machine was in the bathroom. Seriously. It was very different, of course, and times change. But nowadays, it changes even faster. So you have to be cognizant of these things that are going on. So the millennials, as they enter their peak buying years, they're reluctant. Millennials are reluctant. I see a question. May I pause for a minute? Let's see what the question is. I can't see the right side of the slides. They're getting cut off no matter what I do to scale my window. Jesus, I apologize for that. Let me try something. Jennifer, hold on 1 second. Let me try something. Let me do something. Is that better? Hold on. Is that better? Oh, good. Thank you for your question, Jennifer. I hope I wasn't cutting off anything. By the way, I'm glad you asked that question, Jennifer. Thank you very much. These slides will be available to you at the end of the presentation. But more important, much more important, I'm going to give you, free of charge, the 40-page comprehensive report from AIM. They gave me permission to do this, of this entire report, which contains loads more than I can do in an hour. I'm going to tell you how to get that when we're done, so stay tuned. Renters were roughly 3 times more likely than homeowners to miss payments. You know, the economy, oh, wait, there's a recession coming next year. You hear this over and over and over again. Remember, I'm telling you to be careful what you're being told. Ladies and gentlemen, you're already in a recession. If you haven't gone to the grocery store recently, prices are through the roof. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe what I pay for coffee, and I love coffee. Since the Great Recession, look at this last point, right? The cumulative shortage of one new single permitted 35 largest U.S. housing markets. There's a shortage. Wait a minute, Jim. I thought there was a building boom. There was a building boom. They built homes. Now they can't afford them. If they can't afford them, they move back to the current home. You see what's going on? It's confusing, isn't it? But what we want to do is handle that confusion. So, then there's this. Besides those facts I just gave you, which are important to keep in mind, the National Association of Home Builders, and I know there are some people in the audience who are members of this, some builders are actually in the audience, but I want you to understand what the homeowners are like, okay? The homeowners, it looks like I'm not in presenter mode. I got another note here. No, I'm not in, but can you see the screen, Bernie? Bernie, can you see the screen? I'm going to wait till she answers that. I can see it now. It doesn't look okay. Yes, good. Okay, good. The reason, Bernie, I've shortened that screen is because, basically Jennifer couldn't see it. Now everybody can see it. NAHB produces this volume. You can go and buy it. We bought it. 358 pages. Everything you need to know about what homeowners want, what homeowners want, because the NAHB does this for a living. They research people. The question I have for you is, do you believe it all? Do you believe everything Google tells you? Do you believe everything I'm telling you? Do you believe anything anybody's telling you anymore? You have to investigate this and put your own benchmarks on this and judge it for yourself. There is tons of great information in this volume, tons that you're going to see coincides with the AIM research. However, there are things in here that if you believe it, you're going to go and navigate the wrong way, and you're going to be off course. I'm going to give you some examples of that. For example, when I say adjust your coordinates, you know that if you're a navigator and you're a degree off in about an hour, you're going to be way off course. It's the same thing with marketing. If you are basing your marketing strategy, your differentiation strategy on something you read, something you researched yourself, and you believe that this is it, and you don't test it, you're going to go off course. One of the things I learned in my direct mail career is test, test, test. Never stop testing. Never believe you found that magic bullet because it doesn't exist. Validate your position. Builders know this. Measure twice, cut once. You got to continually challenge what you believe. So if that's said, I want to introduce you to this. Does anyone know what that triangle is? Pause. You can put it in the question box or whatever. Do you know what that is? Okay. Yes. Somebody wrote Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Thank you. Thank you, Don. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, if you don't know who Abraham Maslow is, He's basically the psychologist who built this triangle. Sometimes the people say he's not really relevant anymore, but he's very relevant. You start on the bottom. You need your physiological needs taken care of. If you're hungry and you have no food, you cannot think about the room in your house you want. If you don't feel safe, you cannot be thinking about the things you want to buy at the store because, you don't feel safe. Why are you going to go to the store, et cetera, until you come to the top, which is self-actualization. Self-actualization basically means that you basically can think about anything you want to think when you want to think about it. And that's what the internet did. You wake up, you go to your computer, and you start self-actualizing. Well, the world is not your computer. The world is not virtual. The world is real. And unless you satisfy your needs, for example, try going without sleep for a few days. Right? If you do that, you're going to be like me. My wife will get mad. She'll never talk to me again when I don't sleep. It's crazy, right? Well, we need sleep. It's the same thing with this. So you have to think about what this does to the people who are wanting this and saying they have that already. So think about this. Laundry rooms. NAHB research said that this was the most sought-after room. 79% of respondents wanted it, okay? AIM research concurred. 78% of the people that AIM research said that they want this in their dream home. 68% said they had it. So the difference between the people who had it and the people who want it was not that great. It wasn't that great. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever known a realtor or a designer? Is there any designer out there or architect that leads their pitch with this? Hey, I can design the best laundry room you've ever seen. Nobody leads like that, do they? Nobody leads like that. I'm going to go back for a moment into the presentation mode because some of these things have build slides and I don't want to miss any of the build slides. But if I do cut you off, Jennifer, it's only going to be the right side where the picture is. If you have a problem with that, just weigh in on that. Okay, laundry rooms. Again, both pieces of research said this is what they want, but our research says they already have it. Now, again, why do you think they need laundry rooms? Can I ask you that? Why do you think they want and have and they need and they want laundry rooms? You know why. I told you why. It's because more people are living in the home and you got more dirty clothes. It's that simple, right? This is proprietary research by AIM. We're going to look at rooms now. And what we're going to look at, this is the important part, are what people have and what they want and the difference. In other words, knowledge is comparison. That's always been one of our tenets here at Interline. Knowledge is comparison. Thank you, Jennifer. Still good. So you have people who have this room and people who want this room. And there's a difference in that. The difference is what AIM studied. The difference is when I saw this report from them, it drove me nuts. Because I would have never thought about it like this. I would have never thought about a home. Because if I said to you all, what are the rooms that most people talk about? And I'm going to get 99.99% of the people, of the 100 people plus in this room, kitchens and baths, right? They like their kitchens, they like their baths. But guess what? Everybody has them. So you're a kitchen designer and a bathroom designer, and there's 78,000 of you out there, which there are. How do you differentiate your kitchen from their kitchen besides color, apply, blah, blah, right, cabinetry, etc.? You do that, and that's great. But what about these other rooms? I was just on a webinar yesterday from one of our clients, the KCMA, and they were talking about their visit to Europe to the Kachina show, which is every 2 years. It hasn't been there since 2018. And all they talked about, besides the kitchens and the baths, are the other rooms that they're showing what they're doing with the other rooms, right? And the other rooms, including some of the rooms I want to show to you. I was going to change my presentation, but I figured it's too late to do that, but I'm going to mention it. So what we're going to look at are the rooms that people said that they want and that they don't have, but they really, really want it. That's what we're interested in. Wine cellars. There was a difference of 588% between the people who had it and wanted it. That's the highest difference in all the rooms we studied. And what we did, ladies and gentlemen, when I took the AIM report is I made sure that they're coinciding with the NAHB report. So the rooms that they studied were very similar. Now, the NAHB is going to tell you something different about wine cellars than the AIM report will, and you need to know that, and you need to understand that. So, when we think about a wine cellar, what do we think about? Something that you see on the right? That's a wine cellar. That's some place that, oh my God, right? I challenge you now, all of you. I want you to define wine cellar. What is a wine cellar? You have an image when I say wine cellar in your mind. Somebody put that image in there. Step back for a moment and ask what it is. Besides that, why the heck would a piece of research from AIM tell me that there's a 580 that a lot of people, regardless of income, want a wine cellar, right? Why do they want a wine cellar? And more than that, most of these people couldn't afford a room like that on the right. Would you agree with me? So, the first thing we did is we investigated wine consumption in the United States. And if you understand wine consumption, this is what it looks like, right? It's going up. It's going up. I was at a liquor store the other day, and I couldn't believe it. People are walking out with $85 a bottle wine boxes of wine. You have to be able to put that wine someplace, and it's not going to be in a cellar like that. That's a wine cellar. That's a version. If you go to House and you say wine cellars, you're going to see they build these wine cellars underneath staircases now. It's a refrigerated area. It could be anywhere. It could be in your kitchen, could be underneath the staircase, could be a special room. Because people are drinking more. But who leads with a wine cellar? None of the designers in the audience are going to say, I can build you a great wine cellar. So what do you do instead of doing that? Be an observer. Listen. Tips and tricks, right? On a consulting call, your next consulting call that you have a prospect for, bring a bottle of wine and see what they do with it. And if they put it somewhere with 100 other bottles of wine, there's your opening. I'm just saying. And if they put it in the refrigerator next to 5 bottles, that's great. You're getting information back to help you define what your customers want in their home. And the AIM research is basically just telling us that wine cellars is something that people want. They're drinking more. Don't ask me. I don't claim to understand why people are drinking more. I don't. Maybe you do. Maybe you have some ideas, but I don't. All I know is what the facts tell me. And remember, the facts can't keep you warm, but they can help you get differentiation. If you're a designer or an architect, sponsor a wine tasting event. Create a lead list like that. Partner with somebody. There's plenty of people that are doing wine testing. There's a restaurant, forgot the name escapes me now, that has a wine club and all this stuff. Wine is unbelievable, right? They can't keep up. Tap real estate agents and hold discussion groups. These are ideas for you to validate or invalidate the idea that people want a wine cellar. What is a wine cellar? A wine cellar is as simple as a refrigerator in the kitchen that holds wine. That's a wine cellar. The word cellar is what throws us off. We just want somewhere to put wine, right? Any questions? Keep putting those questions in there. I'll get to you. Outdoor kitchens. Outdoor kitchens was the second highest in AIM's research that said that they want in their dream home. This is what they want in their dream home, an outdoor kitchen. 490% difference between people who had this and people who wanted it. That's an amazing difference, isn't it? Would you agree with that? But this feature, outdoor kitchens, according to the NAHB, was rejected by 31% of their buyers. In other words, NAHB research is saying they don't want this. Really? If you investigate further, the NAHB also offered a piece called Why Outdoor Kitchens Are So Popular. So now we have what they have is basically talking out of both sides of their mouth, right? They're saying 31% don't rejected it for buyers, don't want that, which is odd. Would you agree with that? Especially after COVID. COVID changed would you agree with that? It changed everything, and now we're trying to get back to normal, whatever the hell that is. But if you think about it, outdoors is where you felt safe. Why wouldn't you want an outdoor kitchen? Why wouldn't you? Right? And what is an outdoor kitchen? Define the term again, like you did wine cellar. What does that mean? Is it the barbecue alone? What you see here on the right are various outdoor kitchens that you and I both think about when we think about outdoor kitchens. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be a grill. A gas grill on the outside of the patio is an outdoor kitchen. I lived in Cary, Illinois for many years, and that was my outdoor kitchen. I used to shovel snow to the grill in wintertime so I could grill. That was my outdoor kitchen. I didn't, no bricks, no nothing, just a plain old patio, right? And the gas grill. So challenge yourself on these definitions. Be an observer. Roam around the neighborhood. Do you want to look at outdoor kitchens? Hop over to Home Depot and Lowe's. What do you mean, Jim? Those are retailers. Look at what they're selling. This is winter in Illinois, so they may not be selling outdoor kitchens, but in springtime, you get out there to those retailers, you're going to see them lined up on the outside. People want these portable outdoor cooking venues, right? Tap realtors. Go do some research. Go to your realtors and ask them, or research realtors. How many homes are you selling with outdoor kitchens? Hop online to some of the retailer websites and look at what the offering is. They take beautiful pictures of the kitchens, of the bedrooms, of the bathrooms, don't they? But what about the outside? And I will venture to guess that even in Illinois, you're going to see swimming pools and outdoor kitchens. You will. So go to the retailer who sells these things and chat them up. Make a deal with them. Say, you know what? Let me help you stage some of these outdoor kitchens or some of the homes you do. Write a white paper about outdoor kitchens. There's plenty of ideas. Go to Google. Always start with Google. When you go to Google and you type in a query, Google is going to give you millions of results to choose from. So please do so. That's what you should do. And write a white paper and put it on your website. Should I repeat that? Put it on your website. How many of you are blogging and putting content on your website? If you're not doing that every single day or week, you're missing the boat, because that's how Google finds you, indexes you, and gives you to the next person who's looking for you. That's how you get indexed by Google, through your content, not your beautiful photos. Google doesn't see the photos, although they're working on that algorithm. You have to caption the photos. You have to put meta tags behind the photos. That's when Google reads everything. I got a question the other day. Jim, how long should my blog be? Okay. That was the question. How long should it be? Well, as long as you want it to be. Because as long as you want it to be, Google doesn't care how long it is. They read everything. Remember it. Steam showers. This was the third highest category in the AIM research. 411% between who had it and who wanted it in their dream home. In other words, steam showers was one of the categories. Do you have it? Do you want it in your dream home, right? 411% difference. And by the way, none of the 4,000 square foot homes in the AIM study. Now, the AIM study was very interesting because it delineated between square footage, and we could take a picture of the people with big homes, medium homes, small homes, and it didn't matter if they had a big home. In fact, the 4,000 square foot homes in the AIM study reported having a steam shower. None of them did. None of them did. And yet they wanted it in their dream home. What are you going to do about that for people, especially if you're in the big home business, right? 32% of that group, of the 4,000 plus square foot, wanted it. They want the steam shower. Now, why would they want a steam shower? Isn't a shower a shower? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. 11% of the 3,000 to 4,000 had it in their current home. They had it. So people there in the smaller homes are investing in a steam shower room, as opposed to the people in the bigger homes that they AIM research that are not. Isn't that interesting? So what should we do about it? Well, customers, when they go house hunting, right? When they go house hunting and they look for that, find customers who are house hunting and go with them. You have clients who are thinking about buying a home, thinking about renovating a home. Here's an idea. Find out somebody who wants to renovate their home and say, let's go look at some models. Take them on a model hunt. Go to a couple, 3 models with them, go into those models and watch their reactions to the rooms as you go through. You will walk away with 3 visits like that with your client and your customer to homes that are being, new homes for sale. You can find them every day, right? Go to those homes with your client, walk through them, and within 3 visits, you're going to know exactly what to design for your client. Because they're going to tell you, well, I like this, I don't like that, but what about that? Engage the realtor in conversation, asking pros and cons of rooms, not just steam showers, but what? Interview the realtor is your best friend. I hope you make friends with these people because they're always trying to sell you something, right? But you should talk to them and do research with them. Call them up on the phone. Go visit their basic base of operations, right? And they'll say to you, Jim, I'm too busy to talk to you now. Well, when can I talk to you? I really want to talk to you about the homes you're selling because I need to know what's selling and what's not. I need to know that as a designer. I'm pounding my chest. Tap manufacturers like Mr. Steam, there's others, for literature you can use in your work to test people. Throw a piece of literature on the counter when you're talking to them, on the table when you're interviewing them. What about this? Manufacturers, all manufacturers of anything, wine cellars out there, they're going to, if you say, hey, I'm an interior designer, I'm an architect, can you send me some literature? They'd be foolish not to send you what you want. Foolish. And I don't know any foolish manufacturers, do you? Do a piece of research on a zip code if people have a steam shower. If you find one person and they have a steam shower, right, in that zip code, how many other people have a steam shower? Maybe they were like roofs, selling roofs when there was a hailstorm. I don't know. And coordinate with the manufacturer and do follow-up on the customer file. Customer files are the most important thing, right? Okay. All right. I can't see the right side of the slides. They're getting cut off no matter how I shape my view. I got is that another comment? Okay. The bidet and the master bath. If the right side's getting cut off, I apologize. It's just pictures. And I will send you the slides. Okay. Bidet and the master bath. One of the problems with researchers is that they try to slot people into buckets. Would you agree with that? You're a Gen Zer, you're a baby boomer, so you must think like that. You must. Obviously, if you're in that age group, you must believe this. Well, that's BS, isn't it? Isn't it? You cannot do that anymore. It's like blood pressure. 120/80 is normal. Who's normal? Is there anybody normal? Sometimes like right now, I assure you my blood pressure is not 120/80. It's certainly not 140/90, but it's not 120/80. All right? And it fluctuates. Blood pressure fluctuates, doesn't it? So, baby boomers here are the buckets. Where do you fall, ladies and gentlemen? Which bucket do you fall into? I'm in that top bucket. And I assure you, I have tried a bidet, and I swear by a bidet. One of our clients is the top manufacturer of bidet in the world. Okay? Until you experience a bidet, you really can't. Well, I can't. Till this day, my wife doesn't like them, but she's never tried it. Anyway, who decided on these categories? Who decided that these categories mean anything? Right? Some marketer in a room someplace decided that. But that's not true. Because what makes people think that you behave in a certain way? I was on a Gen Z panel the other day listening to a webinar. I learned so much. Not only about what they know, but about what they don't know. You see, we think we know, but there's a lot of people who don't know. So, think about that when you're thinking about bidets, because bidets are very important, believe it or not. It's a hygiene question. You remember the toilet paper shortage in COVID? Remember? It was unbelievable, right? People, I can't find toilet paper. right? Suddenly, everybody wanted toilet paper because they didn't know how long they're going to be locked out. I need toilet paper. You know what happened to bidet sales? Through the roof, through the roof, through the roof. One of our clients wanted to research that, and they thought it was because it was toilet paper. It wasn't. It's because of hygiene. It's just hygiene. That's what you use paper for, right? But who talks about this? But you, as a designer, you have to understand that, right? Bidet seat sales shot up during COVID. Full bidets in the master bath was the fourth highest category. 248% wanted a bidet in the master bath. Now, again, the challenge is define the word bidet. What is a bidet? What you're looking at on the right is a bidet. It's separate from a toilet. And I still remember many, many years ago when I walked into a friend's house and I saw that thing. I didn't know what it was, but everybody in Europe, he's from Europe, knows what that is. I didn't know. I grew up in Chicago. I was lucky to have a toilet. I'm kidding. Okay? If you look at the research that AIM produced, this is how they say about bidets in the master bath. They're saying Generation X is the one that wants it most. Boomers don't want it that much. Why? Maybe they already have it. I don't know. They didn't probe that question. So, bidet in the master bath, tip and trick. Find out what your clients is hygiene. Hygiene is not going anywhere. Would you agree with me on that? Hygiene is here to stay. I was in a class last night, taking a class for something, and there were bottles of sanitizer on the way out. Besides the leave behinds, there were bottles of sanitizer on the way out. My wife said, should we take one? I said, we got enough sanitizer. What should we do? They're giving away bottles of sanitizer. Hygiene is here to stay. And bidets are hygiene. In fact, until you try it, it's silly to talk about it. So try it. And by the way, a friend of mine just emailed this and said, look at this. This is a portable bidet. You can buy it and take it with you. You can also spray vegetables, but don't say I said that. Anyway, the bidet is here to stay. Why? Because it's hygienic. With this in your case, you don't need toilet paper. Multi-generation rooms. We talked about this in one of the earlier slides, how people of all ages are coming back into the home. This was the fifth highest category in the AIM research. 243% said they want this in their dream home. They said they didn't have it, but they want it in their dream home besides the people who had it, right? So what is multi-generation? It means you're living together with adults and children, which the picture suggests. The Wall Street Journal in January of this year, they wrote a piece called The Magic of Multi-Generational Housing. Ladies and gentlemen, when I'm telling you to validate what I'm telling you and validate what everybody's telling you, Google is the best validator. Not that you should believe everything Google tells you. You got to dig deeply and you got to know how to ask Google for what you're looking for. And one of the things that this article tells you is that the U.S. is facing an aging population, a shortage of caregivers. And you're going to look at that and you're going to go, duh, of course they are. But nobody says it. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it in your designs when you approach a client and you walk into that house for the first time? Isn't one of your delineating questions, at least I've heard this from many interior designers I've interviewed, how many people live here? If you're not, I'm just telling you, I'm assuming you're asking that question. Maybe you shouldn't assume because you know why you make right? You shouldn't, right? But if you don't ask that question and you're just talking to the quote homeowners, plural or singular, God, you can go off course immediately, right? So think about multi-generation rooms. Some tips and tricks, right? Talk to your client. Poll your clients, probe your clients, do a piece of research on the phone. Call 5 of them, right, that you've designed for in the past. Say, how's it going? Do you enjoy my design? Talk to them, I'm sure you have personal relations. Oh, the kid came back. I can't get rid of him now. They're going to talk to you about the problems they're facing with people in the home, right? I'm caring for my aged mother. I had a client, major client, who quit. She quit to take care of her aging father. I applauded that. That was unbelievable. She quit a high-paying job, very high up in the organization. And she told me, she says, Jim, I'm just quitting so I can take care of my father. What What a humanitarian thing, isn't it? Isn't that unbelievable? Probe your clients. They're going to give you tips and things that you can really think about, right? Do direct mail research. Examine your clients from the past. Here's another piece of content. Do a position paper. Publish it in the local newspaper. Every one of you has a local newspaper. Yes, I know. Newspapers are digital now. Are they really? Some of them actually still deliver printed newspapers, right? Public newspapers are dying. They're dying because they don't have original content. Produce original content. Get published. And if you can't get published, put it on your website. Just Google multi-generational family news and load up on the ideas you'll find in Google. Any questions? Let's see. Just give me a second. Let me check. I think we're still good. Good. All right. Onward and upward. Oh, this is what you do if you Google. You'll get stories like this. It's unbelievable. Aging population statistics thrown through your PowerPoint. Okay. Sunrooms. This was the 6th highest category. We're doing good on time. 223% difference between the people who wanted it in their dream home and the people who had it in their current home, right? 223% difference. Why should a designer considering having a sunroom, right? When you read things like this, sunrooms have long been considered one of the worst home improvements a homeowners can make for a handful of reasons. Somebody wrote that, somebody believed that, so people stray away from a sunroom, right? People, do you know your history? People used to worship the sun. You know this? There are some modern people who worship the sun. Despite skin cancer, they don't care. They plop out of the sunscreen and off they go. The sun. The sun is a great healer. Vitamin D, right? Well, you can get enough vitamin D from vegetables. Maybe. But there's something about the sun. So during COVID, why would you say a sunroom is not good? Why would you think about that? If you live in Wisconsin, right, or northern Illinois, northern Illinois, a sunroom is a blessing. You can go out in wintertime in the sunroom and experience, except when it's cloudy, of course, experience the sun. I had a friend, a great friend, passed away. He was a great account guy, Paul, and he would live in the suburb. There was a western suburb he lived in. It'll come to me in a moment. He had a sunroom. And every time in winter when I would go to meet Wheaton, Illinois, when I would go to meet Paul, we'd go out into the sunroom and have a wonderful conversation in the sunroom. Even on a cloudy day, it was warm, cozy, right? It's the sun. So, if you think about that, what are some tips and tricks? Cruise the neighborhood. You know, there's a saying in racing, the guy will walk the track before the race, right? The driver is going to walk the track to find out where the holes are, where the curves are, Walk the neighborhood. Look at the neighborhood. See what's going on. Well, Jim, I didn't see any sunrooms, so obviously they don't want them here. Do they? Do they really? I don't know. Architects who do residential work, they actually do that, and they find out that maybe they do want them, that just nobody ever proposed it to them, right? I'm not saying lead with the sunroom. I'm just saying you got to put it in your pocket if people want that and don't know they want it. How many times have you talked to a client and you started talking and you said an idea and they look at you like, what are you talking about? And then the idea 5 minutes later comes back from them and they say, I never thought of that until you said it. That happens. It obviously happens. So proposing something like this, and even if you get shot, I don't want a sunroom. Great. Go on to the next room. But you have to build a pitch book for this. You have to have, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between what people dream of and wanting and what they currently have is always, there's a gap there. Nobody's going to tell you, I don't want a kitchen, right? Then the rest is easy. Of course, they want a kitchen. They need a kitchen. What's in the kitchen? But these rooms I'm suggesting to you today from the AIM research are different. These are the outliers. These are the differentiators that can help you get more business. Because, as I said, kitchens and baths, rooms, everybody's doing them. That's great. Go to a house, you get zillions of pictures. They have a great picture portfolio, right? Google sunrooms. Go to news and look at the news for sunroom. Look at Milwaukee homeowners find some comfortable spot. I did this, for this presentation. Milwaukee, it's always warm in Milwaukee, isn't it? Why would you want to? Of course it is. St. Charles, that's in Illinois, etc. Fine. The media room, right? Yeah, that's a common room, Jim, everywhere. It was the 7th highest category. The difference was 224%. Again, I'm going to challenge you. Help me help yourself by defining the media. What is a media room? Is it a room with a TV in it? Is it a room with, chairs like you see on the right there? It was the 7th highest category. Some people call media rooms home theater rooms. Well, no, Jim, you're talking about a home theater. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Who cares what you're talking about? You're talking about a people where people get together for media. And by the way, you see one screening there? Ladies and gentlemen, we're a multi-screen community now, right? Consumers are multi-screen. When I'm watching, quote unquote, a movie, right? I'm on my iPhone, my wife's on her iPad. We're multi-screens. You got children at home too? They're doing things too, right? Multi-screens. That's what we are. We are multi-screens. So some tips and tricks. Homeowners don't know and define the media room. When you're challenging them and you go into their home, what do you use in your media room? And if they say, well, we sit around the kitchen table and we watch television because there's nowhere else to sit. Well, what about creating a room in the spare bedroom? There's all sorts of things you can do. Find about their social expectations. Do they have big parties? Do they have a couple of friends? Do they have space for a single cinema? What kind of room do they really need, and how do you optimize it? I'm not saying you got to build a theater. And by the way, AMC theaters, as you know, people are slowly returning to the movie theaters, right? At least that's what they're telling us. Well, guess what AMC is doing? They realize very quickly that movies are never going to be the same. The movie theater, as you and I defined it when we were growing up, is never going to be the same. So the guy who's running AMC or movie theaters has realized he can't exist unless he redefines what a movie theater is. And guess what he's turning it into? Meeting rooms. Why? Because he has many locations. He has the technology so that if a corporation wants to meet in many different cities, he's got them. They come to the theater for the big meeting. No more problems on Zoom. No more problems on go to web. None of those problems that we face when we're talking to a lot of people. And he's going to do it. Not that I'm suggesting that you buy AMC stock. I'm not doing it. Okay. So what does this tell the designer? Well, more rooms from the AMC survey that showed up in this difference are on the right. The mudroom, the garage storage. I was just talking to a friend the other day. He says, where I live now, you cannot have enough storage. Even when you're in a big home, you find ways to pack stuff away, don't you? So storage is very important. An elevator. Who the heck wants an elevator? Aging population. If you got a 2-flat or 2 floors in a townhome and suddenly something happens, did you ever break your leg and try to navigate into your shower? Study ADA if you're not doing that, or accessible design. Outdoors landscape lighting, security, etc. Remember that these results, like all research, they're only clues to help you differentiate yourself. These are only clues. Consumers are knowledgeable, right, to select something else. They go online. They do their own research nowadays. They don't necessarily just believe you, which is a problem. Because if they're believing Google and not you, that's a problem, isn't it? So information travels so fast that if you're designing a home, you have to educate yourself. You have to, because it just changes so fast. Latch on to a builder. Builders know what's going on. This is how people find builders. They ask their friends. Oh, wait, Jim, perhaps this is the way they find designers. Duh. Of course they do. They ask their friends, right? They Google people, word of mouth, research, etc., etc., etc. 17 other ways is 28% of that big pie on how people find builders. Look at the other ways. They look at reviews. People are looking at you before they even pick up the phone to contact you. Should I repeat that? They are doing their research. There was a great movie, Kingdom of Heaven. If you've seen that movie, where one of the characters tells the other character, people will know about you before you show up to that country, about your goodness. It's a quote like that. People know about you before they contact you because they've looked at you. They've looked at your work. If you have a website, they've talked to other people about you. They've vetted you. So when you pick up the phone and you answer a call from someone, chances are they've already vetted you. And if they haven't vetted you, good for you, because then you can vet yourself to them and put yourself in the best light. Study the responses. When you ask for this piece of research I'm going to offer you in a minute from AIM, thank you, AIM, I want you to study the responses that gives you a sense of what's being talked about. In this report that you can ask for in Appendix 3 are the verbatim comments about what they like about living in their homes. Ladies and gentlemen, if I just gave you this appendix from their research, you would have enough here to build a case for differentiating yourself from other people. These are their exact words. Okay? Look at the middle column with the word everything, everything. And again, AIM didn't change this. They didn't correct it for spelling. This is exactly what people wrote in the online research that they conducted. Okay? Just start reading from the top to the bottom, but look at the middle, everything, 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 everything. Imagine starting your pitch when you walk into one of your clients, right? Look I know you love everything about your home. And they look at you and they go, what are you talking about? That's why you're here. We don't love everything. Perfect. Well, what don't you like? And you're into a conversation. Okay? Someone wrote everything now since I remodeled it all. Perfect. Have you remodeled something recently? You can ask them. Look at the third column, great community. And when you get this piece of research, read each comment carefully. Don't just whiz through it, right? Look at the top columns on the left. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, separate living room, great room with dining. That's what they love about their current home. If that's what you love about your current home, do you want that in your dream home? Right? Again, I'm just suggesting that. Words like location, open floor plan, layout. The repetition of those words when you go through this are your clues to create a powerful pitch for your clients. Appendix 4, even better, right? This has verbatim comments from the consumers of what they don't like. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't they say they like the age of their home in the other one? Yes. Well, now they're saying they don't like the age of their home. Yes. Because guess what? It cuts both ways. The age sometimes is a good thing, and the age sometimes is a bad thing. The days in the bathroom are sometimes a good thing, and sometimes there's a bad thing. That's my point. That's my point. There is no one answer. But what you're seeing today from AIM research is for you to think about the differences in terms of the other rooms, besides the kitchen and the bathroom and the living room, blah, 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 right? So you could do the same thing with this. So these are I call them designers to-dos. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. www.a-i-m.com/ASID. If you go to that website, there's a little form, fill it out, 40-page report coming your way. 40 pages of everything what I said plus what I said. Very, very intensive, comprehensive paper that AIM wrote after we challenged them in terms of understanding what they really, really did the research on. Okay? So, what time is it? 6 minutes left. Thank you very much. Now it's the time for questions. Do I have any questions from the audience? I saw everybody paying good attention. Let's see. Any raised hands? Let me go through the list. Wait, I can't believe. Can I believe that? Can I believe that no one has questions? Somebody, please ask. I'm looking. Really? I did that good of a job. Well, I got an excellent presentation. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you. Excellent. I love excellent presentations. Not that I give them all the time, but I try to be excellent all the time, right? We can only try. Anybody else? Let's see. Thanks for great information. You're welcome, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you. I see thank yous coming in. Great. Thank you very much. Good. No questions. I know. Here's my mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I offered you the 40-page report, and in that report is going to answer all your questions, right? Here, if you have questions after you get the report, there's my email, jim@interlandgroup.com. There's my phone number. You can email me. You can call me. In fact, if you want to evaluate, go to /evaluate at Interline Group. We'll give you some of our free guides. I really appreciate your time. You know, time is the only non-renewable asset, isn't it? I'll never get back this hour. You'll never get back the hour. I'm so glad you spent the time with me today. I'm very blessed because I'm a lifelong learner. You know, I've seen a lot, and I don't want to get into that, but thank you so much for your time, and please stay in touch. There will be more webinars next year. Hope to see you perhaps in person, but I did enjoy presenting to you. Thank you so much, and again, stay in touch. Email me, phone number, and again, if you want the address of that www.i-m.com/ASID. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, last note, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.